I ran against Donald Trump. And Terry is running against an acolyte of Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump? No, he doesn't want to talk about Trump anymore. Well, I do. Donald Trump, or Trump, why Trump did this. That's who Donald Trump is. To Donald Trump, former President Trump, he endorses Donald Trump. Donald Trump, I love this one. Trump to Donald Trump, that's to Donald Trump. Now Donald Trump, loyally to Trump, and with Trump.
I know you're thinking,
wow.
Yeah, we get it. Okay. Well, obviously, trying to make this where Terry McAuliffe is running against Donald Trump, not against Glenn Youngkin, who, Jesse, Jane, and Joe, comes across as someone who is a successful business person and more moderate than a lot of people associate with Mr. Trump. And as a result, they're getting very nervous about losing Virginia. As blue as it has turned, Jesse, Jane, they're worried they're going to lose this. So this is the game now. Tie him to Trump.
Absolutely. Youngkin has been very good in his campaign. He's been well-spoken. He hasn't made any major faux pas of any sort. So this is all they've got now. Let's just pretend Trump is on the ticket, and they're trying to rewrite the ticket, essentially. But meanwhile, Joe Biden calls Ralph Northam, the governor, his pal, when it wasn't just maybe 11 months ago or 2 years ago. He called him to resign because of the KKK uniform that appeared in his yearbook. He had labeled him a racist. So these folks are really just trying to go with whoever they need to get through. They want to make sure a Democrat holds Virginia. And Terry McAuliffe is really in a bad spot. We have all heard about the scandals tied to the schools, and Terry McAuliffe's comments that the parents shouldn't be involved in making the decisions with the public schools. And I'll tell you what, that was the best campaign for Youngkin, because Youngkin's been about getting parents back into the schools and giving control. And if they think this is about Donald Trump, they're not paying attention to what's going on right there in their state, and they have no answer or solution for it.
Yeah, well, Joe, hopefully they've seen these polls, though, because it is neck and neck in this race. It's the latest Emerson College Nexstar Media poll. Republican Glenn Youngkin, Democrat Terry McAuliffe, each coming in at 48%. So do you think that Youngkin can pull this off?
Well, I do, and here's a little something for Joe Biden and for Terry McAuliffe. Donald Trump would beat Terry McAuliffe easily in Virginia if you were running, so invoking his name doesn't make any sense. And when you talk about education, this is one thing. When I bring this up on my show, and you all know this, you bring up education and how to raise my kids on my show, the phones melt down for 3 straight hours. Parents don't want government telling us how to raise our kids, how to educate our kids. We are the employers. You are our employees in the schools, and we should work together. For Terry McAuliffe to say what he said about parents not having a word, a say, any hand in the education of our kids probably will be the reason he loses. Youngkin seems fine. I don't know the guy. We might have him on the show in the next couple of days. But at the end of the day, when you tell parents, it's none of your business, now give me your property tax money, none of your business, shut up, don't go to the school board meetings, you're probably going to lose. And let me just say it again. You want to evoke the name Donald Trump, who's still the most popular politician in the country? I think that was a bad move by Biden.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of time here, Jesse, Jane, but let me just get right to the question about New Jersey. The rest of the country may not know their names, but know that New Jersey is a Democratic state. But the Republican is running pretty close. Does the Republican have a real chance of winning in New Jersey?
Well, of course they have a real chance, because Joe Biden has been faux pas all over the place. He's destroyed the economy. He has made us less energy independent. The gas prices are rising. And whenever your president is a failure, that party is going to suffer for it. And I think Democrats are going to be hit with a tidal wave of Americans saying we've had enough. If they can't control the White House, they're going to control their state governments.
Right.
Joe, jump in, your opinion.
No, I agree. I think that a Republican has a chance in every race. I don't care how blue or how purple the state, because this is going to be a referendum. Every election will be a referendum on the Biden administration, the economic policies, and we're all suffering. It doesn't matter which side you're on. Watch New York very closely. I think that Giuliani and Sliwa have a great chance there, because, again, you're seeing the same sort of setup as we saw when Rudy Giuliani and when Pataki won in that state. Very blue state, but red certainly took over. When people say I'm not safe enough, I have no say in education, and you're trying to mandate stuff, we're going to go the other way.